Hello class. So በዛሬ ክላሳችን የምንጀምረው rational number ነው. In our previous class we have seen about fractions. So in today's we can see about the rational number system. So as we can see from this number line, it represents 0, positive and negative numbers. So it represents integers, right? So there are actually natural numbers that can be placed in between these integers. So any rational number comes between these integers. So there are many rational numbers that we can find in between these integers ማለት ነው. ስለዚህ አሁን እዚህ ጋር እንደምናየው 3/2 ከተሰጠን 3/2 is a rational number because it's written in a form of a over b. በፍራክሽን ፎርም የተቀመጠ ነገር rational number ነው. ስለዚህ a over b ፎርም ከተቀመጠ 3/2 ምን ማለት ነው? 3/2 ስናካፍለው 3/2 ብናካፍል ስንት ነው የምናገኘው? 3/2 is 1.5 አይደለ? So 1.5 is እናንተ እኔ ታይም ለመቀነስ ብዬ ራሴ አካፍያው ነው but ስትሰሩ ማካፈል ትችላላችሁ. It's 1.5. So 1.5 in the number line is between 1 and 2 አይደለ? ስለዚህ number line ላይ ስንሰራ 1.5 መምጣት ያለበት 1 እና 2 መሃል ነው. ስለዚህ 3/2 1 እና 2 መሃል ላይ ነው ማለት ነው የምናስቀምጠው. So any number that can be written in a form of a over b, where a and b are integers and b is not equal to 0, is rational number. So set of rational number ምንለው it's denoted by q ነው denote የሚያደርገው, and such that q is written in a form of a over b, where a and b are z means integers, right? So a over b form ተቀምጦ it's included in integers, so it's element of integers. So a and b integer የሆኑ a over b form መቀመጥ የሚችሉ, and b is not equal to 0 because if b is 0 it makes it undefined, so b can't be 0. So this is a rational number ማለት ነው. Any integer a can be written in a form of a over b, where b equals 1. So ኢንቲጀሮች ሁሉ rational numberዎች ናቸው ማለት እንችላለን. Any number we get rational number ነው. ምክንያቱም አሁን ለምሳሌ let's take 11 እንደዚህ ስናየው integer ነው አይደለ? So we can take this integer and change it to rational number. 11 can be written in a form of 11 over 1. There is no difference between these two. So any integer rational number ማድረግ እንችላለን ማለት ነው. ስለዚህ any integer is rational number. So 1 over 7 minus 3 over 11, anything formed written in a form of a over b is integer, rational number. I'm sorry. And as we sketch, we're gonna learn how to represent rational numbers on the number line. So first we have to draw the number line. So as we draw the number line and place these numbers in the number line, let's take this. This is 3/2. As I said, 3/2 is 1/5. So 1/5 is always located between 1 and 2. I added. So 3/2 is actually located is halfway between 1 and 2 because it's 1.5. 1.5 is in the middle of 1 and 2. So it's in the middle. And you can do this by your own. You just have to divide 3/2, and we change it into a decimal form, and after that we place it when we get the number. So 3/2, as we can see here, is located between 0 and 1, so we place it here. So in the case of negative numbers, negative 5/2 is negative 5/2 is negative 2.5. And I think by now you already know where it should be placed. So this number is negative 2.5 is placed between 2 and 3, right? Negative 2 and negative 3, because 2.5 comes here after 2. So negative 2, there's negative 2, and there's negative 2.5, and there's negative 3. So it's actually halfway between negative 2 and negative 3. So this is how we locate rational numbers on the number line. And as we take this number, as we divide 8 by 4, 8 by 2, it is 4. 4 is actually integer, and it's actually, as I told you, integers are also rational numbers, so it is 4. The property of rational number is every rational number corresponds to some unique point on a number line. Any rational number can be placed in this number line. It has a place, a specific point. Every rational number has a point on this number line. So let's get this. A new number marked on the number line to the left of the 0 point and fraction between them are called negative rational numbers. So set of negative rational numbers is q minus. It has q negative. This means negative rational numbers. And if it is marked in the right of the 0 point, it is positive rational numbers, and it's denoted by q plus. If it has positive sign, it's positive rational numbers, and if it's negative, it is negative rational numbers. The union of set of positive rational numbers, set containing 0, and negative rational numbers is set of rational numbers. So let's see from this. Anything that is located, this is the left side, right? In the left side of the 0 is negative rational number, and in the right of the 0 is positive rational number, and there is the actual 0. So the negative rational numbers, the positive rational numbers, and the 0 are all collectively called set of rational numbers. So negative and positive, you should know what they are denoted by. So let's proceed. As we calculate this, in order to calculate, I think you have already learned how to calculate this, because in order to add or subtract fractions, their denominator should be the same. So the first thing we're gonna do is make the denominators the same. This one is 10 and this one is 5. So we have to multiply 5 by 2 in order to make it the same as 10. So we multiply both the numerator and the denominator by 2, which is 3 times 2 and 5 times 2. So 3 times 2 is 6 and 5 times 2 is 10. So now we made the denominator and the two denominators the same. Now we can actually add it. So 6 plus 7 is 13. We make the denominator the same. We can't add the denominators. So it's gonna be 13 over 10. We do the same on the case of subtraction. We have to make these denominators the same. So we multiply 9 by 2 and the numerator as well by 2. And when we get the numbers, which is the top numbers is 19 and 26, right? The denominators have become the same, and now we can subtract it. As we subtract it, it's gonna be negative 7 over 18. But in the case of multiplication and division, we don't need the denominators to be the same. We can actually just multiply this. So minus 2 times 8 is 16, minus 16, and 7 times 11 is 77. So that's how we multiply it. But in the case of dividing it, we don't just divide these numbers. The thing we do is we take the first number, 3 over 13, and we take the reciprocal of this number, the reciprocal of this number, and we just multiply it. So the first number is 3 over 13. So 3 over 13, 3 over 13 times, what is the reciprocal of 2 over 5? It is 5 over 2, right? So times 5 over 2. 5 over, it's gonna be 5 over 2. So as we multiply it, 3 times 5 is 15, 13 times 2 is 26. So this is how we divide numbers. So the other thing we should know is how to change decimals to fractions. We have already learned it, but let's take this as an example. The first thing we have to do is know how to make this point disappear. So in order to get this point out of our number, we should multiply this by 100, right? 100 times 0.25 is gonna make this point disappear, because 1 times 2 times. So this is 2 times. So we add 100, we multiply it by 100, and we multiply 100 both in the numerator and the denominator. So it's gonna be, as we multiply this, it's gonna be 25 over 100. As we simplify it, we can divide both 25 and 100 by 25. So 25 divided by 25 is 1, and 100 divided by 25 is 4. So it's 1 over 4. This is how we change it. And in this case, 1.2 to 1.28 divided, so in order to change it to fraction, we should multiply it by 100 too, right? So as we multiply it by 100, it's gonna be 128 over 100. So in this case, in order to simplify it, we just divide it by 4, both sides by 4. So it's gonna be 32 over 25. So this is how we change numbers, decimals to fractions.